forgot. I forgot to just remember.
Then.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I want to see the Deity. Hare Krishna. That's okay. All right. You're not. The power.
শরণ যে নিলাম শীতল চরণ পাইয়া শরণ লইল
Adi Leela, Chapter 4. All glories to the lotus-eyed, moon-like Lord Chaitanya. All glories to all your loving devotees. O Lord, look upon me mercifully, so that my delusion is dispelled, and I may be able to serve and worship you day and night. The wonderful appearance of the Lord increased the happiness of everyone in Srimati Sachi Devi's house. Both Jagannath Mishra's and Srimati Sachi Devi's hearts heaved joyous waves while looking at the Lord's beautiful face. Sri Vishwarup would pick up his brother in his arms and smile gleefully at the Supreme Lord, the abode of transcendental joy. Friends and relatives lingered, surrounding the Lord affectionately all the time. Some chanted mantras of enchantments in the Lord's room for his protection. The Vishnu Raksha mantra invoking Lord Vishnu's protection, or Devi mantra invoking Durga Devi's protection, were chanted while some people circumambulated the Lord's house. And when the Lord would cry, shedding tears from his lotus eyes, only the sound of the holy name of Krishna would pacify him. Finally, everyone understood the secret message, and whenever the Lord cried, they immediately chanted Lord Hari's name. The demigods were in a jovial mood and decided to play some practical jokes on the people, who always surrounded Nimai. A demigod in a spiritual body stole quietly about the house, unseen by human eyes. When the people saw a shadowy figure slither past, they exclaimed, "There goes a thief!" Terror-stricken, some of them loudly chanted Nasringha, Nasringha, while others murmured the Aparajita Stotra, prayers to Parvati Devi, wife of Lord Shiva, for protection. While many persons were going around the house chanting all different mantras and prayers, a great commotion was heard from inside Srimati Sachi Devi's house. The demigods had assembled to see the Lord, but the people outside thought that thieves were entering. Some shouted, "Catch the thief, thief," while others continuously chanted, "Nasringha, Nasringha." A Brahmin priest endowed with powers of exorcising ghosts threatened the invisible demigods. "You're lucky you got away today, but you do not know the tremendous power of Lord Nasringhadev." Unseen by anyone, The demigods laughed to themselves. In this way, a month passed. Completing her 1 month of confinement, the period of contamination after childbirth, Srimati Sachi Devi went for a bath in the Ganga with the other ladies. Amongst singing and joyous clamor, Sachi Devi bathed in the Ganga. She worshipped Ganga Devi, and thereafter she worshipped a village goddess called Sasti. After worshipping different demigods in accordance with proper rites, Sachi Devi returned with the satisfied ladies. According to the social custom, Sachi Devi respectfully offered all the ladies roasted paddy, bananas, oil, vermilion powder, betel nuts, and betel leaf. The ladies in turn blessed the child and offered respects to Sachi Devi before they returned to their respective homes. In this way, the Supreme Lord Chaitanya performed his childhood pastimes. Without the Lord's mercy, these pastimes are incomprehensible. The Lord as a child cried frequently. His real intention in crying was to induce everyone to chant the Lord's holy name. The ladies tried one way or another to pacify him, but he cried all the more. As soon as they chanted Hari Hari, a beaming smile spread across the Lord's exquisite moon-like face. Discovering that this pleased the Lord, everyone got together and repeated Lord Hari's name while clapping their hands. Happily, everyone performed congregational chanting, and Sachi Devi's house resounded with the Lord's name. Unknown to all, Lord Chaitanya's childhood pastimes in Sri Jagannath Mishra's house were a facsimile to Gopal Krishna's childhood pastimes. When no one was present in a room, he would intentionally scatter things around after pouring milk, butter, or oil on the floor. Forewarned that Mother Sachi Devi was approaching, he would quickly lay down and start crying. Mother Sachi Devi would pacify him by repeating Lord Hari's name until she noticed the different substances spread all over the floor. Who has scattered the rice, wheat, and dal? Why are these broken pots of curd and milk on the floor? No one could understand who had done this. There was only the 4-month-old baby in the house. Curiosity drew everyone to that room, but they could not find any trace of the culprit. Some conjectured a demon or ghost must have come, but due to the effect of the mantras, it could not harm the baby. Angry that it could do nothing to the child, it threw everything around and escaped. This incident left Sri Jagannath Mishra quite perplexed, but thinking it a providential interference, he did not comment. In spite of the extensive damage, both Sri Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi felt their sorrows soothed by just looking at the child's face. Days passed wrapped in mystery, until the day of the name-giving ceremony arrived. Sri Nilambar Chakravarti and other learned scholars and friends assembled there. Respectable, chaste ladies who looked as fresh and glowing as Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, attended the ceremony in beautiful saris. Everyone discussed which name the child would have. Some ladies made one suggestion, while other ladies made another. This child will have no younger brother or sisters, so, being the last child of the family, he should be named Nimai, said one lady. After considering all the points, the scholars said that there was one name appropriate for the child. As soon as he was born, famine ended in the land, and the farmers were blessed with the long-awaited rain. Happy and healthy conditions returned to the land at his birth. It was similar to the ancient story of Lord Narayan, protecting and upholding the universe during devastation. Hence his name should be Sri Vishvambar.
Yes, please. You slowly make learning persons. It's not going to be. It's too long. Yes, very quickly.
You're gonna learn the second speech, start with the second. Listening from this will have a little. This is quick mother. You can make the same thing.
Okay.
So you make the same thing like this.
Okay.
Room, he Krishna's childhood pastimes. When no one was present in a room, he would intentionally scatter things around after pouring milk, butter, or oil on the floor. Forewarned that Mother Sachi Devi was approaching, he would quickly lay down and start crying. Mother Sachi Devi would pacify him by repeating Lord Hari's name until she noticed the different substances spread all over the floor. Who has scattered the rice, wheat, and dal? Why are these broken pots of curd and milk on the floor? No one could understand who had done this. There was only the 4-month-old baby in the house. Curiosity drew everyone to that room, but they could not find any trace of the culprit. Some conjectured a demon or ghost must have come, but due to the effect of the mantras, it could not harm the baby. Angry that it could do nothing to the child, it threw everything around and escaped. This incident left Sri Jagannath Mishra quite perplexed, but thinking it a providential interference, he did not comment. In spite of the extensive damage, both Sri Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi felt their sorrows soothed by just looking at the child's face. Days passed wrapped in mystery, until the day of the name-giving ceremony arrived. Sri Nilambar Chakravarti and other learned scholars and friends assembled there. Respectable, chaste ladies who looked as fresh and glowing as Lakshmi Devi, the goddess of fortune, attended the ceremony in beautiful saris. Everyone discussed which name the child would have. Some ladies made one suggestion, while other ladies made another. This child will have no younger brother or sisters, so, being the last child of the family, he should be named Nimai, said one lady. After considering all the points, the scholars said that there was one name appropriate for the child. As soon as he was born, famine ended in the land, and the farmers were blessed with the long-awaited rain. Happy and healthy conditions returned to the land at his birth. It was similar to the ancient story of Lord Narayan, protecting and upholding the universe during devastation. Hence, his name should be Sri Vishvambar, which means sustainer of the world. This is confirmed in his horoscope, for he is the brightest torchbearer of his family. The name Nimai that the respected ladies gave will be his second name. The name was given at an auspicious moment when all the planetary indications were right, and amidst readings of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and the Vedas, etc. by the Brahmins. The demigods and humans assembled together on this occasion and offered benedictions. They chanted Lord Hari's all auspicious holy names, while blowing conch shells and ringing bells. Rice, paddy, books, roasted paddy, coins, gold and silver were placed for the child to hold, testing the Lord's tendencies. Sri Jagannath encouraged his son, "My dear Vishvambar, take whatever your heart desires." Sachidevi's son, the Supreme Lord, ignored all items and picked up the Srimad Bhagavatam and embraced it. The ladies loudly glorified the Lord. Everyone was impressed and said, "He will be a great scholar." Some commented that the child would turn out to be an elevated Vaishnav devotee with the extraordinary capacity to easily grasp the imports of the scriptures. Whoever saw Lord Vishvambara's enchanting smile became drenched in showers of bliss. Once the ladies had the child on their laps, they would not put him down. This child, the Supreme Lord, is almost unapproachable even by demigods. And whenever the Lord started crying, the ladies clapped their hands and chanted Lord Hari's name. Hearing the chanting, the Lord swayed blissfully, as though he were dancing on their laps. This excited the ladies, who in turn increased their chanting. The Supreme Lord, by his desire, had everyone constantly chanting the Lord's name on any available pretext. The Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other scriptures conclude that no undertaking reaches success without the Supreme Lord's desire. Sachidevi's son, the Supreme Lord Chaitanya, grew day by day, motivating everyone to chant his own holy name. When the Lord began to crawl on his knees, he looked most charming. The small ankle bells on his feet were pleasing to hear. The Lord fearlessly moved around everywhere, catching anything he saw, fire, snakes, anything. One day a snake slithered through the courtyard, and the Lord caught hold of him simply to enact another pastime. The Lord lay down on the coils of the snake. When the residents of the house saw him, they screamed in alarm, but the Lord calmly smiled and remained in that relaxed position. The people shouted, "Garuda! Garuda!" while Nimai's parents waited in anxiety. The snake, who was really Lord Anantashesh, started to slither away when he heard all the crying and commotion, but little Nimai tried to stop him. The ladies rushed over and grabbed up the Lord in their arms, each one blessing him that he might have a long life. Some relatives tied a talisman on Nimai for his protection, while some chanted benediction hymns and others poured Ganga water on different parts of his body. Some of them thought the child had got a new life, while others realized that the snake was Anantashesh. The Supreme Lord Chaitanya, who was radiant like the moon, tried repeatedly to go back to the snake, but everyone stopped him. These pastimes are not revealed even in the Vedas, and anyone who hears them is free from the bite of the serpent of material illusion. Lord Chaitanya, the pleasure of Sachidevi, soon toddled about the house. Lord Chaitanya's extraordinary beauty eclipsed the beauty of millions of cupids. Even the radiant moon longed to behold the Lord's beauty. Curly locks decorated his exquisitely formed head, and with lotus-shaped eyes, he looked like Gopal Krishna. His long arms stretched to their knees, his knees. He had an expansive chest and reddish-pink lips. All his limbs were beautifully formed. His brilliant sun-red complexion was always attractive, and his fingers, hands, and feet were like blooming lotuses. The Lord's reddish complexion sometimes caused Sachimata anxiety. As the child ran about, she kept thinking she could see red, gaping wounds. Sachi Devi and Sri Jagannath Mishra were always struck with great wonder at the Lord's beauty. Although they were needy, their son was a source of unending joy for them. Together in seclusion, they whispered to each other, "I wonder what great personality has come as our son. An elevated and distinguished personality has taken birth in our house. Perhaps this will terminate all our material miseries." I have never heard of any other child as wonderful as ours. He smiles and dances without stopping when he hears the chanting of Lord Hari's name. When he cries, no amount of consoling will calm him. But when he hears loud chanting of Lord Hari's name, he stops crying and listens. From early morning, the ladies surrounded the Lord and loudly sang Lord Hari's name. They clapped their hands in rhythm, and the Lord danced gleefully. The Lord playfully rolled in the dust. Then, laughing, he would jump into his mother's lap. The Lord danced, moving his body in such a manner that no one can contain his laughter. No one could understand how the Lord, through his childish pranks, motivated everyone to chant the holy name. The Lord was so vivacious and restless, fleeting in and out of the house, that no one could catch him. Venturing out on his own, Nimai wanted to taste whatever he saw: roasted rice, banana, sandesh, etc. The Lord was so extremely attractive that strangers gave him whatever he requested. Strangers gave him sandesh or banana, and pleased with his gifts, the Lord returned home. He then distributed the food to those ladies who sang Lord Hari's name. Everyone merrily applauded the child's ingenuity and continuously sang Lord Hari's name. The Lord wandered freely in and out of the house, whether morning, noon, evening, or night. Daily he went to a friendly neighbor's house and mysteriously stole from him. In some houses he drank all the milk, and in others he ate all the rice. Wherever he found nothing to eat, he was satisfied to break all the earthen pots. If he found a small child in any house, he would tease him to tears, but when he was observed, he fled. But if by chance someone caught him, Nimai would catch the person's feet and plead, "Please, let me go this one last time. I shall never come back again. I will never steal any more. Please be merciful." Astounded by the boy's sharp intelligence, no one could remain angry with him. Ultimately, everyone was affectionate towards him. People were naturally captivated just by seeing him, and parents loved him more than they loved their own children. The Lord of Vaikuntha, Lord Chaitanya, passed his childhood in this manner, moving and mischievous. One day, 2 thieves saw the Lord roaming about the streets alone. Seeing his fine ornaments, they conspired to steal them. One of the thieves picked him up, saying, "Oh dear, while the other joined him, saying, "Where have you been for so long?" "Come quickly home, dear," the thieves said. The Lord smiled and replied, "Yes, let us go home." Busily, the 2 thieves sped away with the Lord in their arms, while the street onlookers ignorantly thought that the rightful guardians had taken the child. Teeming thousands of people were on the streets, but all were strangers to each other. The thieves were happy with themselves and with the ornaments on the child. Overtaken by greed, the thieves were trying to eat the imaginary pie in the sky, thinking that they would surely steal the golden bangles. They carried him on their shoulders toward their hideout, while the Lord rode along chuckling to himself. One thief passed a sandesh into the Lord's hand, while the other said comfortingly, "We have almost reached home." The thieves had kidnapped the Lord and run away, far away, when the Lord's relatives began to search for him. "Vishvambara, come home, Nimai," they shouted. Everyone grew frantic and restless like fish out of water. In distress, they remembered Lord Govinda, while far away the thieves carried Nimai toward their house. Deluded by the Supreme Lord's illusory potency Maya, the thieves mistook their way to their hideout. They arrived instead at the residence of Sri Jagannath Mishra. The bewildered thieves thought that they were in their own house, so they busied themselves trying to remove the Lord's ornaments. "Get down now, we are home," said the thieves, and the Lord replied, "Yes, yes, put me down." Inside Sri Jagannath Mishra's house, everyone sat around with their heads in their hands in utter despair. The beguiled thieves took the Lord down from their shoulders, thinking the house to be their own. As soon as Nimai was on the ground, he ran straight to his father. Joyous uproar shook the house as the relatives loudly chanted, "Hari, Hari." An understandable transformation overwhelmed the people, as if life had returned to their bodies. The thieves realized that the house was not their own, but they could not recognize where they were. Taking advantage of the commotion, the fearful thieves stealthily left the place without being noticed by anyone. Reflecting on the strange and wonderful incident, the thieves thought, "Who was playing tricks with us?" "Chandi Devi, Goddess Durga, certainly saved us today," they said, after regaining their composure. Then they embraced each other. The thieves actually gained immeasurable piety and good fortune because they carried the Supreme Personality of Godhead on their shoulders. In Sri Jagannath Mishra's house, the happy relatives asked, "Who brought the child back? We should offer him nice gifts and tie a turban on his head." Someone said, "I saw 2 persons come with the child, put him down and leave, but I do not know which direction they went after that." Everyone was surprised that whoever brought the child back did not stay to be acknowledged. They turned to Nimai and asked, "Our dear child, tell us who brought you back. We are puzzled." The Lord replied, "I went to the banks of the Ganga, but I lost my way home and was roaming about in the town. 2 persons took me in their arms and brought me home." The words of the scriptures are never wrong. The unseen hand of God always protects children, old persons, and the helpless, they all said. Being bewildered by the Lord's illusory energy, Maya, the relatives conjectured in many ways. The Supreme Lord performed his wonderful pastimes in this manner. No one can understand them without the Lord's direct mercy. Whoever hears these narrations, which are a mystery even in the Vedas, can easily get undeviating devotion at Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet. I, Vrindavan Das, offer my humble song at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, who are my life and soul. Adi Leela, Chapter 5. All glories to the Supreme Personality, Sri Vishvambar, Lord Chaitanya. He is the Supreme Lord of Lords, and his feet are decorated by the marks of the flag, lightning, goad, etc. The Supreme Lord performed various transcendental pastimes while residing in Jagannath Mishra's house. One day Sri Jagannath Mishra called his dear son Vishvambar and told him, "Bring my book." Nimai hastened to the house where he heard his father's call, and the ekal bells on his feet jingled loudly as he moved. Sri Jagannath Mishra inquired, Where is the tinkling of ankle bells coming from? Both he and his wife, Srimati Sachi Devi, searched all around. My son does not wear ankle bells on his feet. Where does this sweet sound of ankle bells come from? How extraordinary. The father and mother considered the incident but remained speechless with surprise. After bringing the book, the Lord ran off to play. The parents saw another wonder when they entered the house. All over the house they saw wonderful footprints with different symbols like the flag, lightning, goad, festoons, etc. Both were thrilled with great delight, and their eyes brimmed with tears as they examined the footprints. They offered obeisances to the lotus footprints and said, "We will be liberated. No more births." Sri Jagannath Mishra requested his wife, "Please listen, mother of Vishvarup, Lord Chaitanya's elder brother. Cook a nice sweet rice preparation with ghee. In the morning I shall bathe our house deity, Sri Damodar Shila, with Panchagavya, the 5 substances: cow milk, yogurt, ghee, cow urine, and cow dung. I believe that the sound of ankle bells actually came from the feet of the deity as he secretly moved around the house." Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Mata felt great happiness as they worshipped the Shalagram Shila, and Lord Chaitanya smiled within his mind. Here once again another wonderful pastime of Lord Chaitanya, the son of Sri Jagannath Mishra. A very pious Brahmin was visiting different places of pilgrimage to satisfy the Supreme Lord Krishna. He worshipped Lord Krishna by chanting the Gopal mantra, consisting of 6 syllables, and he did not eat anything other than the remnants of food offered to Lord Gopal. After visiting many pilgrimage sites, the fortunate Brahmin at last came to the house of Lord Chaitanya. As a person of incomparable purity, he was enveloped in a great spiritual effulgence. He carried Lord Gopal and Shalagram Shila around his neck as his most wonderful decorations. With half-closed eyes, the Brahmin constantly chanted Krishna, Krishna, and deep in his heart, he tasted the nectar of love of God. Seeing this shining personality, Jagannath Mishra stood up out of respect and then offered his obeisances. The most respectable Sri Jagannath Mishra did everything to properly look after his esteemed guest. He personally washed the guest's feet and offered him a fine elevated seat. Once the Brahmin was seated comfortably, Sri Jagannath Mishra inquired, "Where is your place of residence?" The Brahmin replied, "I am disinterested in worldly affairs, so I travel throughout different countries. It is only because of my restless mind that I roam." Sri Jagannath Mishra said respectfully, "It is the good fortune of the world that you travel everywhere. I especially feel most fortunate today, so please permit me to cook for you." The Brahmin replied, "Dear Mishra, do as you please." Happily, Sri Mishra made extraordinary and wonderful arrangements. Sri Mishra had the kitchen thoroughly cleaned and then arranged for all the ingredients for cooking to be brought. The Brahmin himself cooked to his full satisfaction and sat down to offer all the foodstuff to Lord Krishna. Sri Sachinandana Chaitanya is the supersoul within everyone's heart. He decided to show himself to the Brahmin. The Brahmin had just begun his meditation when the Supreme Lord, Sri Gaurasundar, appeared in his presence. He stood there naked, his entire form covered with dust. He was the color of the sun with beautiful hands and feet. Smiling, he took a handful of food from the Brahmin's offering and ate it while the Brahmin looked on. Although favored by good fortune, the Brahmin called out, "Alas, alas, this restless boy has stolen the food meant for offering." When Sri Jagannath Mishra came, he saw that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Gaurasundar, was happily smiling and eating rice. Intending to beat the Lord, an angry Mishra chased after him. But the Brahmin stood up fearfully and caught hold of Mishra's hand. The Brahmin said, "My dear Mishra, you are a respectable and knowledgeable person, but what knowledge does this little boy have? What will beating him accomplish? It is one thing to beat a person who can reason right from wrong, but I forbid you to beat this boy." Feeling miserable, Sri Mishra sat down holding his head. He did not speak a word, nor did he lift his head. "Do not feel sad, dear Mishra," said the Brahmin. "The Supreme Lord certainly knows everything that happens at all times. Please, bring whatever fruits or vegetables you have in the house. I shall simply eat that today." Sri Mishra said, "If you kindly consider me your servant, then let me arrange for you to cook again. I shall only be satisfied when you cook once again. I have all the necessary ingredients for cooking in the house." The other friends and relatives in the house also implored him to cook again. "Since you all desire it," agreed the Brahmin, "I shall cook every preparation again." Everyone was satisfied that he had agreed, and they cleaned the cooking place for him. They quickly gathered the cooking ingredients, and the Brahmin began to cook. Some people warned the Brahmin that the restless child might spoil the offering again. "Take the child to another house and keep him there until the Brahmin has completed his cooking and eating," they told Sachi Mata. Mother Sachi carried her child to a neighbor's house. The young ladies all teased, "Hey Nimai, is this the way you should act? Stealing the Brahmin's food?" With a smile on his exquisite moon-like face, Lord Chaitanya replied, "What is my fault? The Brahmin called me." But they objected. "O Nimai, will you do more mischief now that you have lost your caste? Who knows this Brahmin, where he comes from, or who his family is? How can you maintain your caste after having eaten food cooked by him?" Smiling, Lord Chaitanya replied, "I belong to the cow tender's caste. I accept food prepared by a Brahmin all the time. How does a cow tender lose his caste by eating a Brahmin's food?" Saying this, the Lord looked at everyone with a smile. The Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya, used this trick to explain to them the truth about himself. But his illusory potency is so perfect that no one could understand him. As they carried him around, the various residents of the neighboring houses enjoyed the child's arguments. The Lord went joyfully from arms to arms, and whoever held him floated in an ocean of bliss. In the meantime, the Brahmin cooked once again and sat down to make offering to Lord Balagopal. While offering, the Brahmin thought of Lord Balagopal, but Lord Gaurachandra, the Supersoul, knew everything. Lord Chaitanya charmed everyone and then left their presence completely unnoticed. Smiling all the while, he went to the spot where the Brahmin was offering his food. Stealthily, Lord Chaitanya put a handful of rice into his mouth and left. The Brahmin, caught by surprise, looked on in disbelief. The Brahmin raised a loud alarm. "Alas! Alas!" The child ate his rice and sprinted off. Sri Mishra angrily grabbed a stick and chased after young Nimai. Lord Nimai fled in dread and hid himself in a room, but Sri Mishra came after him, roaring in a fury. Sri Mishra said, "You shall see today. Act in this mischievous manner, will you? Although I am cultured and knowledgeable, you think I am a great fool." Sri Mishra continued, "In whose house can you find as big a thief as this?" With rising indignation, he chased after Nimai. The people in the house caught hold of Sri Mishra to dissuade him, but the angry father insisted. "Leave me. Today I shall beat him." They tried to reason with him. "Dear Mishra, you are known to be liberal. What superior intelligence will you display by beating him? His sense of discrimination between good and bad is still undeveloped due to his tender age, and only a very foolish person would beat such a small child. By nature, children are restless. It is not true that one can teach them by beating them." The pilgrim hurriedly rushed to the scene and caught hold of Sri Mishra's hand. "Respected sir, please hear me. The young boy is not at fault. Whatever is destined to occur on a certain day must happen. I am not destined to have Lord Krishna's rice offerings today. What I am saying is the confidential truth in this matter." Sri Jagannath Mishra hung his head in dejection, and because of his perturbed mind, he could not look at anyone. At that moment, Vishwarup, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the abode of spiritual effulgence, arrived on the scene. His entire form was so charming that no beauty in all the 14 worlds could match it. He stood there, an embodiment of all spiritual potencies, a Brahman's thread across his shoulders. He appeared as the identical expansion of Lord Nityananda himself. Vishwarup was always engaged in explaining the prime essence of all scriptures, devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Enchanted by his exquisite form, the pilgrim Brahmin stared at him with a gaping mouth. "Who is the father of this extraordinary personality?" asked the Brahmin. "He is the son of Sri Mishra," came the reply. The Brahmin embraced Vishwarup in extreme joy, saying, "Virtuous are the parents of such a son." Sri Vishwarup sat down after offering obeisances to the Brahmin and began speaking nectarine words which flowed like a stream. The day turned auspicious, and the house was blessed with good fortune when you came as a guest, said Vishwarup. You are constant and happy within yourself. You travel everywhere simply to sanctify the earth. It is my immense fortune that I have a guest like your good self. But at the same time, I feel very unfortunate that you have to go without eating. If a guest in a house must fast, then that house will inevitably fall victim to aspersions and inauspiciousness. I received immense pleasure on seeing you, but it pained me greatly to hear about all that occurred here. The Brahmin said, Please do not feel sorry. I shall eat some fruits and vegetables. I am a forest dweller. I cannot get rice or cooked food in the forest, so I live mostly on fruits, roots, and vegetables. I seldom eat rice, only if it comes my way without my endeavoring for it. I feel I have eaten 1,000,000 times over, simply from the pleasure of seeing you. Please go and bring whatever you have in the house, fruits, vegetables, or offerings, and I will eat them now. An extremely depressed Sri Jagannath Mishra sat holding his head between his hand, not replying to anyone. Sri Vishwarup said, Sir, you are a magnanimous ocean of mercy, yet I feel hesitant to ask you something. Saintly persons by nature feel distressed at others' suffering and are always ready to expand others' feelings of joy. With a little endeavor, you can cook a nice offering for Lord Krishna. This will dispel all the miseries of my family today, and I will feel maximum pleasure and happiness. The Brahmin said, I already cooked twice, yet Lord Krishna did not allow me to eat. So I can understand I am destined not to eat today. This is Lord Krishna's desire, so why should I make such an endeavor? One may have unlimited foodstuff in the house, but he can eat only if Lord Krishna allows. One may endlessly try for something, but if Lord Krishna does not desire it, he will be unsuccessful. It is now past 1:30 in the night, going on 2 o'clock. Is it appropriate to start cooking this late? Therefore, please do not make any arrangements for cooking. I will simply eat some fruits and vegetables. Sri Vishwarup replied, There is nothing wrong with the time. Everyone will be pleased if you cook. Sri Vishwarup then caught hold of the Brahmin's feet, and everyone in the house entreated him to cook again. The Brahmin was charmed by Sri Vishwarup, and he agreed to cook. Everyone uttered Sri Hari's name in joy and cleaned the place for cooking. They cleaned quickly, and meanwhile, the necessary ingredients for cooking were brought. The respected Brahmin then proceeded to cook, and everyone kept the child at a secure distance. Sri Mishra posted himself at the doorway of Nimai's room. Tie the doors to the room from the outside so that he cannot escape, suggested someone. Good, good, agreed Sri Mishra. That is a good plan. Tie the doors from the outside and we will remain out here. The ladies inside Nimai's room said, Don't worry, Nimai is fast asleep. There is nothing more he can do. The child was kept away in this manner, and in a short while the Brahmin finished cooking. That pious Brahmin then prepared an offering plate filled with the things he cooked. He sat down to offer everything to Lord Krishna through his meditation. Nimai, the son of Mother Sachi, knew everything because he is the supersoul within everyone's heart. He desired to appear before the Brahmin and reveal himself. By the Supreme Lord's will, Nimai enchanted everyone, and they slept effortlessly. Sri Sachinandana appeared in the place where the Brahmin was offering his rice to the Lord. When the Brahmin saw the young boy Nimai, he raised an alarm, but no one heard him because they were all in deep sleep. Nimai, the Supreme Lord, said, O Brahmin, you are known to be a magnanimous soul. You called for me, so I came. Why should I be blamed for it? You chanted mantras to invoke me. You beckoned me. So I came to you. How could I resist? You incessantly meditate on me, so I decided to appear before you. At that moment, the Brahmin saw a wonderful sight. The Supreme Lord stood before him in his 8-handed form, holding in 4 of his hands the 4 symbols: conch shell, disc, mace, and lotus. With 2 other hands, he held butter and ate it, and with the last 2 hands, he played the flute. He saw the Lord's entire form decorated with gem-studded ornaments. His breast was marked with Lakshmi Devi's sign of Srivats, and the priceless Kaustubha jewel hung brilliantly with other precious gems in a necklace. His head was decorated with fresh forest flowers that circled his peacock feather. His rubicund lips, like the rising sun, set off his softly glowing moon-like face. His pink lotus petal pair of eyes smiled sweetly as his knee-length Vaijayanti flower garland and his exquisite shark-shaped earrings swayed delicately. His feet were like blossoming lotus flowers, decorated with gently tinkling gem-studded ankle bells. The luster from his delicate pearl-like nails dissipated the darkness. The Brahmin saw the place transformed immediately into Vrindavan Dham. The wonderful Kadamba trees became clamorous with the chirping of birds. Cowherd boys and girls roamed about on their own, and everything was exactly as he had seen it in his meditation. Overcome with ecstasy at seeing such an extraordinary display of opulence, the Brahmin fell unconscious. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Gaurasundar, who is an ocean of mercy, placed his transcendental hand on the Brahmin's body. He regained consciousness by the Lord's touch, but the Brahmin was still speechless and inert with overwhelming joy. Again and again he fell swooning to the ground. Sometimes getting up and sometimes falling, he moved by great upsurges of spiritual emotion. Overcome by shivering, perspiration, and horripilation, he was unable to remain still. Tears flowed as freely as Mother Ganga. The Brahmin caught hold of the Lord's lotus feet and cried loudly for some time. Acknowledging the Brahmin's eagerness, the Supreme Lord Sri Gaurasundar spoke a few words with his enchanting smile. The Supreme Lord said, "O learned Brahmin, please listen. In many past lives, you were my servitor. You have always meditated on me. Therefore I came to show myself to you. In my previous incarnation, I appeared to you in the house of Maharaj Nanda in this self-same form, but you have forgotten. In my previous incarnation as Krishna, I appeared in Gokula Dham, and in that lifetime you were making pilgrimage to holy sites with sincere spiritual fervor. By divine arrangement, you came as a guest to Nanda Maharaj's house and offered me your foodstuff. In that encounter, we also exchanged affections, just as we are now. I ate your offering then, as I have done this time. You are my servant birth after birth, therefore I have appeared before you. No one other than my servants can see me as I am. I am entrusting these confidential topics to you. Do not reveal them to anyone. As long as my present incarnation remains on this earth, if you reveal my identity, I shall destroy you. I made my appearance where the congregational chanting of Lord Krishna's holy name has already begun, and I will initiate the propagation of that chanting throughout the world. I will freely distribute to every house the process of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord, which is so fervently desired even by Lord Brahma and other elevated personalities. Remain with us for some time, and you will see many things, but you are strictly forbidden to describe them to anyone." The Supreme Lord Gaurasundar went back to his room after he showered his mercy on the Brahmin by giving him all assurance. He lay down like a child in his previous sleeping posture. No one was aware of anything because of the deep slumber caused by the Lord's mystic potency. The pious Brahmin was filled with great exhilaration after seeing the extraordinary pastimes of the Lord. He smeared that transcendental rice over his entire body and then ate it while crying incessantly in ecstasy. He danced, sang, laughed, and made loud roaring sounds while continuously shouting, "All glories to Lord Balagopal." The Brahmin's loud roaring awakened the residents of the house, so he quickly restrained himself from further outbursts of spiritual emotions and cleaned his body. The Brahmin ate without worry, and everyone was immensely pleased by this. The Brahmin considered telling everyone what he knew. Let them know that the Supreme Lord is amongst them. That way they can all be liberated, he thought. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is desired by and offered prayers by Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, has now appeared in the family of a Brahmin. But the Brahmin remembered the Lord's instruction not to reveal anything to anybody. Afraid to disobey him, he did not speak to anyone. The Brahmin knew the Lord's real identity, but others were unaware that the Brahmin had this extraordinary knowledge. Happily, the Brahmin remained near the Lord. He begged alms from many different places, but each day he returned to see the Supreme Lord. Such wonderful pastimes of the Lord are revealed in the Vedic literatures. If one hears these topics, he receives the complete shelter of Lord Sri Krishna. The Adi Kanda is full of nectarian topics. It describes how the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayan, performed playful pastimes, acting as though he were a mere child. The Supreme Lord Gaurasundar is the crest jewel of the 14 worlds, and the Supreme Lord of the Vaikuntha planets, which lie beyond this material world. He is Lord Narayan, the husband of Lakshmi Devi. He is also Lord Ramachandra, the husband of Sita Devi. In Treta Yuga, Gaurasundar appeared as Lord Ram, with his younger brother Sri Lakshman, Lord Nityananda. He performed various extraordinary pastimes and killed the great demon, King Ravana. In Dwapara Yuga, he appeared as Lord Krishna with son Karshan, Balaram. Performing many wonderful pastimes, they alleviated the weight of sin in the world. I, Vrindavan Das, offer this humble song at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, who are my life and soul. The Vedas always glorify two supreme personalities, Lord Mukunda, Krishna, and Lord Anantashesh, Balaram. Know for certain that these two supreme personalities have now appeared as Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. Adi Leela, Chapter 6. Lord Gauranga, like the child Gopal Krishna, performed his playful pastimes in various ways. The time for his formal education approached. Fixing an auspicious day and an auspicious moment, Sri Mishra, the most elevated Brahmin, formally placed the writing chalk in the hand of his son. After a few days, the Sri Chudakarna ceremony, where young Brahmin boys shave their heads, leaving only a sika, was performed amidst all of Nimai's friends. The Karna Beta ceremony, which marked the beginning of Nimai's Vedic studies, was also observed. Everyone was amazed that Nimai could write down all the alphabet letters immediately on seeing them. Within 2 or 3 days, Nimai had learned all the conjunct letters, and he spent his time writing many different names of the Supreme Lord Krishna like Rama, Krishna, Murari, Vanamali, etc. He studied eagerly and wrote day and night. Narayan, the lord of the Vaikuntha planets, took the guise of the child Nimai and studied with the other children in Nadia. Only the most fortunate souls could see his wonderful pastime. The living entities became enraptured just hearing Nimai's sweet recitation of the Bengali alphabet. Whenever or wherever Lord Gaurasundar performed his extraordinary pastimes, they remained incomprehensible. If Nimai could not catch the bird he saw flying in the sky, then he wept bitterly and rolled in the dust. Sometimes he cried for the moon and stars in the heavens, and thrashed his arms and legs violently if he could not have them. At such times, everyone tried to pacify the child. Vishvarup would take him in his arms, but the child would refuse to be pacified. "Give, give," he would cry. The only remedy for Nimai's crying was kirtan of the names of Lord Hari. Everyone would clap their hands and chant Hari, Hari. Only then would Nimai forget his distress and become calm. The frequent chanting of Lord Hari's names for the pleasure of Nimai turned Sri Jagannath Mishra's house into the transcendental abode of Vaikuntha. One day the Lord continued to cry in spite of the loud chanting of Hari's name. Someone said, "My dear Nimai, come and dance nicely. We are singing Lord Hari's name." But Nimai continued to cry, not listening to anyone. "Speak, dear child. Why are you crying so much?" they asked him. "Dear child, tell us what you want. We will bring you whatever you like. Simply stop your crying." The Lord replied, "If you want to save my life, then quickly go to the houses of the two Brahmins, Jagadish Pandit and Hiranya Pandit. I am very attracted to the homes of these two pure devotees, and if I could eat their offerings, I would become healthy and calm, and I could behave normally." Nimai's request was impossible. What he wanted was neither practiced among men nor sanctioned in the scriptures. Mother Sachi felt distressed. Everyone smiled at his childish words and promised, "We will give you whatever you want, child, but now stop crying." Jagadish Pandit and Hiranya Pandit were topmost Vaishnava devotees and inseparable friends of Sri Jagannath Mishra. When they heard Nimai's request, they were filled with joy. The two Brahmin Vaishnavas said, "This is a very extraordinary story. We have never seen such an intelligent child. How could he know that today was Ekadasi and that a large variety of food had been offered to the Lord? Now we understand the child's exquisite beauty. Lord Gopal Krishna must be residing in him." The Supreme Lord Narayan acts through this boy. Sitting in his heart, the Lord prompts Nimai to speak in amazing ways. The two Vaishnava Brahmins decided to give all the offerings to Nimai, and they took everything to his house with great delight. "Eat these offerings we have made to the Lord," they told Nimai. "Our desire to satisfy Lord Krishna will thus be fulfilled." Only by Krishna's mercy can one develop the spiritual intelligence to perform devotional service. Other than the Lord's servant, no one possesses such intelligence. Only through devotional service can the Supreme Lord, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, be known as he is. The entire cosmic manifestation has emanated from the pores of the hair of his body. The Lord's eternal servants, Jagadish and Hiranya Pandit, saw to their full satisfaction how the Supreme Lord, as a Brahmin child, performed transcendentally playful pastimes. The Lord happily received all the offerings from his devotees, and he tasted a little something from every preparation. Smiling with pleasure, Lord Nimai ate Krishna's offering, and all of his unusual whims were appeased. Everyone in the house sang, "Hari, Hari," and the Lord ate and danced to the chanting of his own name. Nimai dropped some of the food on the ground, and some got smeared on the other family members. In this way, the Lord of the universe, the controller of the threefold miseries, performed his transcendental pastimes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described in all the Vedas and Puranas, played like a child in Mother Sachidevi's courtyard. As he grew, Nimai became totally absorbed in the restless mood of a young boy, with the other restless young sons of the Navadweep Brahmins. No one could restrain him, and he wandered freely with his friends. Upon meeting another young boy, Nimai would poke fun at him, and the boy would return the taunts until a quarrel broke out. Nimai and his friends always won such quarrels because Nimai was more powerful. The opponents inevitably went away defeated. How enchanting Nimai looked, with his body covered in grayish dust and speckled with drops of black writing ink. After finishing their studies each day at noon, Nimai and his friends went to bathe in the Ganga, amusing themselves all the while. Diving in the waters of the Ganga, Nimai and his friends challenged one another by splashing. Who can describe Nadia's opulence in those days? Hundreds of people gathered in a bathing place on the river. It was impossible to keep track of the number of different people who came to the bathing place. Renunciates in saffron robes, householders, peaceful gentlemen, children, etc. came there to bathe. The Lord performed wonderful water sports with his friends, sometimes floating with the currents of the Ganga. Using the excuse of water sports, Nimai splashed water from his divine lotus feet on whoever was near him, thus showering his grace upon them. People warned Nimai not to be so mischievous, but he paid no heed. Nor could anyone catch him, as he was the swiftest swimmer. Nimai forced everyone to bathe several times by contaminating them, by touching them after their bath, or sometimes by spitting on them. Unable to catch Nimai to rebuke him, the enraged Brahmins stormed off to his father. "Dear Mishra, my good friend," one gentleman said, "please listen well. I have come to complain about your son's misconduct. He does not allow us to perform our daily ablutions in the Ganga properly." Another man complained, "He splashes water on us and disturbs our meditation." Furthermore, Nimai says, "Who are you meditating on? Just look at me. In this Kali Yuga, I am directly Lord Narayan himself." They all came with different complaints. One man said, "He stole my Shiva Linga deity." Another said, "He ran away with my outer clothes." Still another reported, "I prepared for Lord Vishnu's worship and collected in one place different ingredients like flowers, durva grass, sandalwood, and a seat for Lord Vishnu. When I went for my bath, Nimai sat on Lord Vishnu's seat, ate the offering, and threw the other ingredients away." Then Nimai said, "Why do you feel so sad? The Lord of your worship has himself eaten your offering." The people continued to complain. One Brahmin said, "I stepped into the water to recite my Gayatri mantra, and from nowhere Nimai came under the water and pulled me away by my feet." Another said, "My clothes and flowers are invariably taken away." Yet another said, "He steals my Bhagavad Gita scripture." Another exasperated voice added, "My son is very young. Nimai puts water in his ears and makes him weep miserably." Someone else complained, "He sneaks around to my back and climbs onto my shoulders shouting, 'I am Mahesh,' and then jumps down." Another complained, "He sits on my seat of worship and eats all my offerings. Then he performs worship of Lord Vishnu. He throws sand at anyone who has finished bathing, and all the other restless, mischievous boys join him. One of his worst tricks is that while the women and men are bathing, he mixes up their clothes, and when they want to dress, they become quite disturbed. Dear Jagannath Mishra, you are a generous and friendly gentleman, but I tell you, your son Nimai does this sort of mischief every single day. He remains in the water well past 2 in the afternoon, teasing everyone that comes for their bath. How do you expect him to maintain his health? In the meantime, many angry young girls from the neighborhood approached Sachidevi. They arrested Sachidevi with serious complaints. Please hear from us, respected mother, about your son's misdeeds. He steals our clothes and uses awfully abusive language with us. When we try to correct his speech, he splashes water on us and starts quarreling. We bring fruits and flowers to the Ganga to follow our religious observances, but he scatters and spoils everything. He waits for us to finish our ablution and then throws sand on us. Your son Nimai stealthily comes from behind us and suddenly shouts loudly into our ears, mortifying us. Nimai spat a mouthful of water right into my face and threw these okada seeds in my hair. They do not come off so easily. Yet another voice complained. Nimai says he wants to marry me. Every day he behaves in this manner. Do you think your son is a prince? They inquired. Everything your son Nimai does is exactly what Nanda Maharaj's son Gopal Krishna did a long time ago. We have heard stories of Krishna. If we report all these complaints to our parents, they will surely quarrel with you. You should immediately correct your young son. His conduct is certainly not well received in a town like Nadia. With a smiling face, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother embraced each girl and spoke comforting words to them all. When Nimai returns home today, I will beat him and bind him up so that he can never again go out and tyrannize anyone. All of them respectfully took the dust from Sachi Devi's feet on their heads and proceeded to the Ganga to take their baths again. Regardless of how everyone suffered due to Nimai's mischief, each person felt great satisfaction in his presence. The supreme controller of everyone and everything, Sri Gauranga, knew that Sri Mishra was looking for him in a state of rage. Lord Sri Gaurasundar continued to perform his wonderful water sports. Amongst all the boys, he was the most charming. The young maidens took pity on Nimai and said, "Listen, Vishvambar, your angry father is coming in this direction. Right now, escape." Sri Mishra searched for Nimai, playing amongst his friends, while all the Brahmin maidens ran away in fear. Nimai had already instructed his friends that when his father inquired about his whereabouts, they should say, "Your son did not come for his bath with us. He went back home after class. In fact, we ourselves are waiting for him." Nimai returned to his house by another road, and Sri Mishra arrived at the bathing place on the Ganga. Sri Mishra looked everywhere, but could not find Nimai amongst the group of boys. "Where did Vishvambar go?" inquired Jagannath Mishra angrily. The young boys replied, "Today he never came for his bath. He returned home on his usual road after class. We are all waiting for him." Sri Mishra continued to search for Nimai, but unable to find him, he stood fuming with rage. Those Brahmins who had earlier made complaints against Nimai, just for some fun, now came to Sri Mishra and said, "Vishvambar ran home out of fear. We will accompany you home, lest you do anything to him that will later be regretted." If Nimai does this sort of mischief again, then we ourselves will catch him and bring him to you. All those complaints we made about Nimai at your residence were simply out of fun. Actually, your good fortune is unmatched in all the three worlds. Nimai is such a pleasing son that the members of his family are never touched by hunger, thirst, sorrow, or other material sufferings. Your son is the Supreme Eternal Lord. You are truly very fortunate to be able to serve his lotus feet. We will always keep Vishvambar's memory in our hearts, even if he commits countless offenses. The personalities of Nadia were eternal devotees and associates of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. For this reason, they were endowed with superior intelligence, required to render transcendental devotional service to the Lord. The Supreme Lord performed various transcendental pastimes with his intimate servitors. A mundane person cannot understand such activities of the Lord. Sri Mishra said, "Nimai is a son to all of you. If you should take difference to his offense, then I am bound to you by oath. I beg your forgiveness." Sri Mishra warmly embraced everyone and returned home feeling greatly satisfied. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Vishvambar, had gone home by another road. Shining brightly like the moon, he carried beautiful books in his hands. Blotches of writing ink on different parts of Nimai's body appeared like decorations on his golden complexion. It looked as though a sweet-smelling golden champak flower had attracted a swarm of black bumblebees. Lord Nimai called out, "Mother, give me oil. I want to go for my bath." Mother Sachi's heart gladdened. She could not detect any sign that Nimai had taken a bath. Giving Nimai the oil, Sachi Devi thought, "What did the Brahmins and the young maidens say about Nimai? His whole body is spotted with ink blotches. He has the same clothes on that he wore to school." Jagannath Mishra arrived home at that moment, and Vishvambar climbed on his lap. Sri Mishra lost all external mundane perceptions in the Lord's loving embrace. He bubbled over with happiness at the sight of his son. Sri Mishra saw that Nimai was covered with dust, and there were no signs of his having taken a bath. Sri Mishra was truly amazed. Sri Mishra said, "Vishvambar, what sort of intelligent boy are you, that you do not allow people to take their baths in peace? Why do you steal and disturb the arrangements people make for worshipping Lord Vishnu? You know who Lord Vishnu is, so why do you act like this without any fear?" "But today I have not yet gone for my bath. All my friends have gone ahead of me," replied Nimai. "All these people are behaving improperly towards me, although I have not been near them. They falsely accuse me of being at fault. If they continue to find fault and falsely accuse me, then I will actually misbehave and create trouble for them." The Lord smiled and left for the Ganga, where he met again with all his friends. Nimai's friends embraced him and laughed merrily when they heard his witty story. They all praised him, saying, "You were very clever, Nimai. You nicely saved yourself from good beating today." Nimai was once again engrossed in water sports with his friends, while back at the house, Mother Sachi Devi and Sri Mishra seriously considered certain points. All the complaints brought against Nimai were certainly not lies, yet there was no indication that Nimai had taken a bath. Everything was just as it should be. His body was covered with dust, he was dressed in the same clothes, and they were dry. His hair was also dry, and he had his books. "I think our Vishvambar is not an ordinary person," said Sri Mishra. "Perhaps the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, by his internal potency, has appeared in our house as our son. Or perhaps Nimai is some great saintly personality. I am at a loss to know." Sri Mishra, the jewel-like Brahmin, pondered the matter seriously. Sri Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi Devi felt so happy to see their son that all their cogitations vanished. Their hearts filled with tender affection for Nimai, and nothing else mattered to them. Both of them felt their son's absence intensely. Nimai's 2 hours of study seemed like 2 yugas to his parents. If the Vedas were to describe the great fortunes of Mother Sachi Devi and Sri Mishra in countless varieties of ways, and with innumerable mouths, that fortune would still remain inconceivable. I offer countless obeisances at the lotus feet of Mother Sachi Devi and Sri Mishra, who received the Supreme Lord and controller of the limitless cosmic manifestation as their son. The Lord of Vaikuntha, Lord Vishvambar, performed wonderful pastimes in a pleasing manner. No one could perceive these transcendental activities because of the influence of the Supreme Lord's spiritual energy. I, Vrindavan Das, offer this humble song at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya and Sri Nityananda Chandra Prabhu, who are my life and soul.